Hey everybody, welcome back to another Flea Market Finds episode, and this is from April 3rd, 2022. This was the opening day of the outdoor flea market, and it was a really good day. The first item that I bought is actually a toolbox with the contents, and I'll get to that in a moment, but let's blow out some of these other things that I picked up. This is actually a bag of brass, spent brass, and there's some other shells in there too, of non-brass nature. I don't know if those are aluminum or what, but I actually only bought this because I thought I was going to run into a guy that I see there all the time who buys a lot of spent brass, and unfortunately I didn't see him, so I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with this. I only paid like, I think, $5 for the bag or something like that. Other than that toolbox and contents, machinist tools, I didn't get a whole lot of machinist stuff, but I did get from one of my guys that I buy from regularly. Came back this year, and he had this one Mitutoyo combi mic. This is the rolling digital micrometer. It's got the bad foam in the case, but it's got the manual in there and the wrench, and it seems to work perfectly fine. And I got this with these two unusual brass clamps that he had there for $20. I have no idea as to what these clamps are used for. They have a sticker right here saying that they are Japan. They don't look tremendously old. I don't know if these might be picture frame. Maybe these are for picture framers. I don't know. They're unusual. There is a marking right here. So there's an HS on here and a diamond, and I was just able to look these up, and these are clamps that were sold by a company called Hardwick and Sons. It's a woodworker supply house online, and these are the 12-inch solid brass clamps from Japan. And the current version of these, they are $10 a piece. So, not super expensive. I'll probably just end up keeping them. Maybe I'll run into a situation where I would like a small, delicate clamp for something. This I bought off of a vendor who was just the kind of guy who cleaned out some kind of a workshop or a basement or something. And initially, I thought the microphone wasn't even in here. It caught my eye because it says Electro Voice microphone accessories. And then I noticed on the side here it actually says miniature lavalier microphone. So I took another look and realized, oh, it's right here. The microphone's so small, it didn't catch my eye. The problem is this is clearly got mildew all over it, but it's got the original little pouch. So this might be new old stock, or at the very least, it's definitely vintage. So I took a chance on this for $3. Don't even know if it works. And that's a 649B. Well, a quick perusal of eBay shows that the prices are all over the place on this thing. Somebody had an older one of these, if you can believe it, so old that this cord was gray, and without the box, as is, they got 99 cents, one bid for it. Then somebody else had one with the black cord that looked a lot newer, without the box or paperwork or anything, and they got like $60 for it. And then current ones that are listed, there's even somebody who's trying to get like $6.99 for one of these in the box, which so who knows. So what I'm gonna end up having to do is test this and see if it works. If it works, I'll probably just sell it, as is, with the stipulation that it was tested, but I'm not going to guarantee how long it's going to last. Got this little draw organizer thing here for $5. One of the first purchases of the day, I went over to a guy who had some wrenches, and I picked through the wrenches. I spotted these two closed-end wrenches. They're nice long ones, and I noticed that they were Proto, which is a good name, made in the USA. And I asked him how much for the pair, and he said $5. So that was a no-brainer. I'm going to keep those for myself. He also had this unusual wrench, which neither one of us knew what it was for, and he insisted on getting 5 for this. And now it says Durochrome on it, and it's got a number on it, I think 4491. So I looked it up, and it turns out the reason why I didn't recognize it is because this is a specialty wrench for HVAC technicians. So all of these little square drives must be for opening little valves in HVAC systems, refrigerant type valves and stuff like that. So interesting little ratchet. The ratchet still seems to work perfectly fine. So these go on eBay for like between 12 and 20 bucks. Guy had a pile of clock keys, and I happened to spot this one, and I asked him if he'd take a buck for it, and he said sure. And the reason why I bought this was because I noticed that it was the style that has the little smaller key on the back, and I'm hoping this will fit that old automotive clock that I have. Well, I'm glad I only spent a buck for it, because it does not. This actually will wind it, but the back side is too small to fit that little pin there, which unscrews the back. Another dealer, I put together this pile of stuff, which included this interesting old bell. First I thought maybe it was the guts to a bell that, you know, there was a case that covered it, but then I noticed the stenciling and the painting on the frame there, and I said, oh, I think that's actually supposed to just be out in the open like that. I have no idea if it works, but I just thought it was kind of a neat looking old bell. So I got that. I think that's what that pile there. This Pokemon Polyworld gold colored collectible card from 1999, copyright Nintendo, and this belt buckle for 10 bucks. This ended up being only worth like a couple of bucks. Turns out that that's kind of a bust. The belt buckle is kind of neat. This is marked Odin, and I believe this is a US made belt buckle of a biplane. So I think I looked this up, and this is worth about 12 or 15 bucks. And the bell, like I said, I just thought it was kind of a neat bell. I have not bothered even trying to look it up, because I doubt I'm going to be able to identify it. Here's a little pile of junk I put together, and I got for 5 or 10 bucks. I don't remember exactly which. This is, unfortunately, it's missing the top piece, but this is a screw jack base that somebody had made. So actually it was kind of a neat one, but it's missing that top part. And here's a tapered reamer. We got 4 high-speed steel parting blades. Can't quite make out the maker on these, but they look like good old US steel. Here is a little Starrett, I believe it's a Starrett pin vise. Little Starrett pin vise was the only one amongst that stuff. Interesting little punch. Thought the shape was neat, but no markings on it. And this is a scriber. It's a General Hardware. I turned it around so that it wouldn't stab through my backpack, but the scriber's still plenty sharp. And once again, the scrounger in me ended up buying another vintage piece of electronic stuff. Usually I limit my picks on this kind of stuff to ham radio, vintage stereo equipment, guitar amps and stuff like that, but every once in a while I'll come across some interesting piece of test equipment. Normally I wouldn't give this a second look no matter what the price was, but what caught my eye was that this uses these, I don't know if they're called, I forget what they're called, but these are the little tubes that actually light up and can create numbers. And a lot of people are making projects with these, like clocks and stuff like that, because they're really cool looking when they light up. So you can actually sell these tubes. So I figured, well, if I'm lucky, the tubes are good, I can throw the whole thing out if I wanted to. And then I also thought, well, you know what? It's got some decent toggle switches and knobs and stuff. So as far as what this is a Beckman 6240 e-put and timer. So I don't know what e-put means. I'm assuming that this is some sort of very accurate for its day timer that can be triggered by an electronic input, right? That would make sense because we've got a couple of different inputs here. I don't really care about that. But what would be nice is if it actually just lights up and does anything. So I got this for $5. So I think it was worth the risk. All right, I've got it plugged in. Oh, how cool is that? That came right on, like incredibly fast. And it's zeroed out. So, all right. So the question is, how do you make it count? What if there's a way to make it count without having an external trigger applied? It appears like it has the ability to act as a frequency counter. I got a mode switch here, and looks like it's in frequency X, so showing hertz, so that makes sense. So if I put this in count, so every time I switch this switch, it increases by, all right, and then if I hit this, will zero. Hey, that's cool. I think this is actually working. I'm not exactly positive how to work it, but I think it works. That's wild. So now let's see if it has any value as a complete unit before I contemplate scavenging parts out of it. Nixie tubes, that's what they're called. I couldn't think of the name of it. I had to look up those clock kits. Nixie, I think is how it's spelled. Nixie tubes. Anyways. And there may be more than one type of tube that displays numbers, but I'm pretty sure these are the Nixie ones. I think there's another type that the top of the tube, actually the top of the cylinder shape of the tube is where the number is displayed as opposed to the side like these. But anyways, I did a Google search for this thing. Nothing came up. I did an eBay search. None of these are listed right now, and none have sold recently. So I have no idea what the value of it is. I did search Beckman e-put, just Beckman and e-put on eBay. I did find some other versions of a similar device to this, but I couldn't find anything that had Nixie tubes. They just used a different kind of graphical interface. So anyways, moving on. Well, the first D104 microphone of 2022. Saw this sitting there, and it was a old junky realistic bass radio with it, and I asked him how much for the microphone, and he said $45. And you know, in the past I've scooped them for under $50, but this one I was looking at it and I saw some corrosion here, and kind of just looking at it thinking, yeah, chrome's kind of pitted, not the greatest shape. You can see some pitting on the back here, and you can see the spring, the cord tension relief here. The strain relief on the cord, it's got rust on it. So I told the guy that I think that it may have gotten wet, so it was only worth $25 to me, and he took my $25 for it. So if nothing else, I got another parts D104 for $25. And then he said, you want the radio? Any interest in the radio? And I said, no, not really. And then as I was walking away, he says, you know what? He says, you want it, you can just have it. So then it was a free radio. So I figured, what the heck, for free? I snagged it. We got a realistic TRC 492, it looks like. Regular 40 channel, small base station. And the funny thing is, this isn't even the radio that microphone was on. This has the realistic style, or the Midland style 5-pin DIN, I think is what they call that microphone. Whereas what's on here is more, what's on this right now is the more typical 4-pin Cobra President, whatever. So this looks like it got wet also. It's got some rust on the screws. Let's see if it does anything. So we've got a switch in the back. This, oh, okay, this is one of those models that's a small enough base that they figure you could take it mobile if you wanted to. There's a plug you could have plugged into here to run it off of 12 volts in the vehicle, and you flip this over to run it off 12 volts. And in this position, it uses the internal power supply. So let's see, just make sure the volume's all the way down, just in case it does decide to do something. Oh, look at that. Let's see if the squelch. No audio. Channel selector works. The question is it possible it has no audio because it might be that we don't have a mic plugged in that's causing the problem? Yeah, that's why I wasn't getting anything. I put a jumper wire in the correct pinout, and the receive seems to work. I've just got a really small mag mount antenna here in the basement, and it really has poor reception. The antenna, that is. I was getting some skip on channel 9 here. There it is. Non-English speaking. Remember when channel 9 used to be the priority emergency channel, and you're only supposed to use that in an emergency, like if you broke down or needed to call the state police. Supposedly monitored that. This radio even has a channel 9 button, so that no matter what channel you're on, you can instantly go to channel 9, and then it lights this up to warn you that you're on the emergency channel. This also has a quick channel 19 feature. So I can go right to channel 19, which is generally considered the trucker's channel. And then this is LCR. I think this is last channel recall. So that's recalling the last channel I was on before I decided to toggle back to so the RF gain works, squelch works. The CB's pretty dead around here. I'm sure if I had a better antenna though, I could probably pick something up. Just for the heck of it, I'll see if I can get this to key. Oh yeah. It transmits. Huh. I guess that's enough with the junky old CB, right? Moving along, I picked up these two little vices from a guy. I think I got the pair for 15 bucks. Just thought it was kind of a neat little vice. May very well be an import. Not sure. It's interesting. Somebody took about a 16 penny nail and threaded the end, put a nut on here to make a handle for the missing handle. The other thing I thought was kind of neat was there's a sheet of paper stuck in here. I'm wondering if that's was originally on there or what. So I'm seeing paint drips all over this thing, telling me that this red paint is not original. So it would be great to know, if this actually has some decent age and pedigree to it, but I kind of doubt it. An interesting design there. Well, if it's marked, I don't see it. And this one was with it. I thought this was actually the neater of the two. I've never seen a little one like that style. Jaws are in great shape. Oh, and then I wasn't done with the CB nonsense after all, because I came across a guy who had these sitting there. What these are TRC 475 realistic Walkie Talkies. Got the manuals for them, and they look like they're in great shape. So this one, it's missing the there's supposed to be a magnetic antenna base that goes here, and then a screw-on antenna that sits in here, so it all fits in this case. I'll show you in the other one. The other one's complete. But these things look brand new. Even this plastic is still on the battery case, and I can tell from the weight there are no batteries in there. There's not a scratch on this. I highly doubt that's ever been installed. It's a shame because even in this great condition, it's still going to probably not be of very much value. It's probably a 40 channel unit by the looks of it too. It's got weather radio. Yeah, it says so right there, 40 channel. And this is an emergency citizen band radio. So the idea is that you keep this under the seat of your car or whatever, and you break down and you can whip out this little kit and be on the air in no time. So it's the correct manual. So here's the other one, which is complete, I believe. This one, the radio is wrapped up as if like it's never been used. You can see here's the little mag base, and here is the antenna. So the idea is this antenna can screw directly into the top of the walkie-talkie. So you can either, use it portable with this antenna screwed directly into here, or you could screw this antenna into the mag base, put the mag base up on the roof of your car, and plug into the other jack, and it becomes more of like a mobile radio for your car. So like I said, this other one is missing that, but sitting there on the table with all this stuff was this little mag base, which oddly enough is also Radio Shack brand. So I'm not sure what the deal is here, why somebody had this radio antenna instead, but well, anyways, it's better than nothing. And this has got an adapter on the end. Oh no, I took it off because I was just using it on that base station. But here it is right here. This was on here when I got this, and that goes right into that walkie-talkie. So somebody was definitely using this mag mount antenna with that walkie-talkie to substitute for the other one. So it looks like somebody was using one of these radios anyways. Alright guys, so here's the box that I bought, and the story is that this is the first item that I saw that day, and there was somebody who was trying to buy some stuff out of it, and the guy did not want to sell anything out of the box. He wanted to sell the box with the contents, so that's what he was hoping would happen. And I asked him what he wanted for the whole box with the contents, and he said $50, and I said sold. That's how I ended up getting it. I went to pick the box up and the handle ripped off, and he actually felt so bad about that happening. He said, geez, he said, sorry about that. He says, I should have warned you that handle was kind of weak. I said, that's all right. I should have known, that the leather was really old. He actually offered to knock another $5 off, and I said, don't worry about it. I barely looked at what was in this for tools. And the thing that was in here that the other guy was looking at is still in here. It's a long blade for a square, so we're going to find out together what that is. So the obvious problems with it are whoever had this was a big Yankees fan. There's this big like composite #1 Yankees thing. I'm going to have to see how that's attached. That's on there pretty sturdy. There was a label maker, the old-fashioned type of label maker, had his name up here. I already peeled that off. He had a couple of address return labels with his name and address on them here. I peeled those off enough so we can not see who originally owned this. This New York Yankees patch is okay. That's nice to see. That appears to be just two-sided tape that was holding that on. This okay. A little bit of finish coming off with that tape. So, is it a Gerstner? red felt inside. No. My very first Starrett toolbox. And not only is it a Starrett, but it's an early wooden Starrett toolbox. So, pretty neat. We got more stuff just kind of haphazardly stuck on here inside. Seal wire decimal gauge. Oh, let me show you one other thing on the front that I thought was kind of cool. And this looks like it was in a basement. I see mold. See mold on the inside here, or an unheated house or something. But right here, we got a little submarine. So the odd thing is that says 1942 WW2 German U-boat. That's kind of weird. And no, the last name is definitely not German. The guy whose name was on this box is not German. Alright, so I'm back up on the tripod here with the camera so we can check out together what's in here. So here's the blade the guy was looking at. And it's a satin finish 18-inch Starrett blade. So that's a nice score right there. And that's all that he got to look at before I bought the whole thing. So fork, band-aids. Here's an early old caliper, old pocket caliper. I had one of these once before. I forgot who made it though. I don't see anything on this one. We got in here. Oh, those are for snap ring pliers. Jaws. Oh, this might be a little giant. Look at that. Starrett screw jacks set. It's the smaller size. It's the little one, see? Huh. Looks like we got both the cone and the point and the flat. We got this piece. Tell you what, that, even the Tommy bar in there is in there for that one. That's a complete set. Make that 2 for 2. 2 complete sets. Gooch. Gooch. That's weird. These are router bits from Mon American brand new. Just some junk. Oh, wait a minute. These are transfer screws. Holy crap. They're huge. This is a, the other half of this had the battery in it. It's a lit eyepiece, or a lit magnifier. Just half of it. I got a bullet. You can see the what's left of glue, and I could see almost like the wood grain in it. This looks like this was glued. This looks like this was glued to this somewhere. Right there. Look at that. That was glued there like that. Alright. There's a label up at the top here. What does that say? This is Date Calibrated Digital Equipment Corporation. Oh. How do you like that? 1973. Calibration sticker that was on something. Oh, last word. Look at that. Got a brand new point in the plastic. And oh, this is one of those nice last. This is one of the few last words that I liked out of the series of last words. I wasn't a big last word fan. This model I always liked because of the heavier bezel, slightly larger dial, and that appears to be, now that was just working. Oh, I see. The plastic there popped out. Something a little screwy with the bezel here. So that's a 10ths model, 711 T1. And like I said, that's a pretty early variation of that. Oh, there was one other item in the top here that I missed too. This little drill index. It's a little Huot drill index for drill sizes 61 through 80. That's these tiny, tiny little drills. And there's a few in there. All right. This is a 9 draw. So top left draw. On one of these little tiny drill indexes. X-Acto knife. Nothing. Ooh. This is the smallest automatic center punch I've ever seen. I don't think I have that one. Little brass hammer, tweezers, punch, jeweler's screwdriver, more tweezers, and this tiny little wrench. So the little miniature wrench is marked Hong Kong, so no big deal there. But the center punch is a Starrett model 18AA. It's probably the smallest in the series. Well, I do have this one, so I guess I can, I'll keep mine and I'll sell this one. Mine has the original Starrett tip on it. This has a tip that somebody made up. It looks like they used a hardened pin and ground it. It's nice and sharp. All right, next draw down. Oh, nice. We get a little Apilr chuck keyless on a sensitive drilling attachment. Sweet. That's a nice score. Some random metal sleeves for purposes unknown. And that's all. Alright, let's move to the middle draws. Top middle draw, we've got some drafting dividers here, more modern ones. But we also have some earlier, by the looks of it, Starrett Toolmaker series calipers. 2 inside calipers and a divider. It's made in England. This is a Raybone Chesterman scale. Looks like it's metric. General. What the heck are these for? I've seen these in drafting kits before. I don't remember what these are for. Next draw down. Oh, a couple itty bitty can't twist clamps. The smallest Brown and Sharp clamp I've ever seen, and then one a little bit bigger. Both singles. That looks like just somebody made a center or tap follower or something out of that. Oh, here's a little deburring tool. Umpco. I've had those before. Extra bit for the deburring tool. There's a Lufkin center gauge or fishtail. Starrett center gauge. Brown and Sharp. Oh, he's got them all represented there, huh? Well, not quite, but this is a tiny little 2-inch Starrett scale. That's kind of neat. And this is a Starrett edge finder, double-ended. I think that's an 827B or something like that. I don't remember. Here's a little sign doohickey that somebody made by the looks of it. Next draw down. Some micrometer wrenches and another general scale. But what the heck is, what is this? Well, this is different. Nemco USA. Alright, we got a pencil lead in there. Oh, it's a compass for drawing circles, but I've never seen one with a deal like this before. Huh. Alright, top right draw. Whole lot of nothing. Two Guys Smoke Shop. Alright. Got some Instructions for some cheap digital calipers, a couple of bulbs. Bottom right drawer, the deeper one. Oh, that's nice. Another one of these Starrett point rings. Quite a few on there too. Not full, but quite a few. That's a cut. That's for cutting blister packaging and stuff open. Lots of staples. Another compass. Alright, next draw down, the top of the two wide draws. All that's in this whole draw is just this plastic radius gauge. Huh, never seen a plastic one. I'm going to take this drawer out and just look at the back of it, bottom of it. Everything about this says Gerstner to me. I might be wrong, but I think this is a Gerstner. There's a 381 on the back of that drawer. 3817 on the back of this drawer. 3812. So the construction seems like it's a Gerstner. Final drawer, the bottom drawer. Looks like we're ending on a whimper here. going out on a weak note there. Not much in here. What do we got? Needle files, ball bearings, a whole bunch of ball bearings here, more ball bearings and more ball bearings. Gooch's wiggler set. Oh, complete. All the pieces in that one. Starrett. Another one of these Trig Easy deals. One big slitting saw. That's a pretty good size one, actually. 4-inch. F&D. I suppose anybody tucked any $20 bills in here, did they? That would have been nice. Alright, nothing in the bottom. That's it, guys. Alright, that's it. We're going to call it a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. More pics to come.